Sabadi. Hello, everyone. How are we doing? That was hello in Lao. In Hungarian, I'm pretty sure they say Jó estet kívánok, which is good evening in both of my languages. And today's article is a little bit different from what I had planned, but I'll do the other article soon. So in today's segment, we're looking at strange headlines, things around the world rather than specific cultures and mythologies. But things around the world do give us an insight into the psychic space. What happens in the physical happens in the spiritual. What happens in the spiritual happens in the physical at some point. As they say, as above, so below, but also as within, so without. And often it's actually that second law that people often don't cite at all. They cite the first one, but they don't cite the second one. So today's headline is on. Why is it not working? Today's headline is on Bad Omen. Ancient pyramid in Mexico collapsed into a pile of rubble by Carly Casella from Yahoo News. I just want to look into her bio. Carly Casella, she's a science journalist. She has written for Science Alert, Biographic Magazine, High Country News, Australian Graphic, and more. Just want to go into her bio. Give me a sec. Oh no, dead air. So she describes herself as rather eclectic, and she talks about topics such as evolution, the brain, climate change, microplastics, viruses, and poop. All right, so she's pretty versatile. Versatile writer. All right, so Bad Omen. Cool. Why? Mexico collapsed into a pile of rubble. So extreme weather events and rising seas are putting precious heritage sites around the world in harm's way. A stunning example of this phenomenon in 2024 was a stone pyramid in Mexico succumbing to an increasingly chaotic global climate on the night of July 29th. The 15-meter high, or roughly 50-foot high, square monument located in the state of Minoacan, suddenly slumped under the pressure of incessant rain, its south wall crumbling into a pile of rubble. The pyramid was once one of the best preserved monuments of the Minoacan, probably Minoacan or Mikowasan Kingdom civilization. It is located in Ihuatzio, a remarkably preserved archaeological site that contains one other pyramid, a tower or fortress, and some tombs. It was first occupied 1,100 years ago by indigenous Nahuatl, speaking groups. Later, it became headquarters of the Perhupiches people, the only empire the Aztecs couldn't conquer. The culture still thrives to this day. Wow. Who would have known? Only one of the pyramids at the site was damaged, but personnel from Mexico's National Institute of Anthropology and History, INAH, said that at least 6 of its stepped bodies are in disrepair, including the outer wall and the core and retaining wall. They blamed extreme weather preceding the event. In July, the peak of the Northern Hemisphere summer, heavy rainfall and thunderstorms battered much of Mexico. This came after the worst drought in the nation in 30 years. When rain became so scarce, several lakes had dried up completely. I wonder how big those lakes were. I do wonder that. Let's see. All right. High temperatures previously recorded in the area and the consequent drought caused cracks that favored infiltration of water into the interior of the pre-Hispanic building, said INAH statement. From there, collapse became all but inevitable. Officials are now focused on repairing the structure of the building in favor of the cultural heritage of the Mexicans. Okay, there's more. It's the job of archaeologists to study human behavior in times gone by, but inevitably their work is also impacted by current human activities. Extreme weather and rising seas driven by human-caused climate change are proving to be a serious nuisance for important sites of bygone cultures. Recently, archaeologists found that ancient cave paintings in Oceania are deteriorating with accelerating climate changes. But my question then to the audience is, these climate changes, are these natural? Are these human-made? Are these a mixture of both? On my channel, I'm more inclined to lean towards that it's a mixture of both, between DEWs, directed energy weapons, being possibly real, weather manipulation also being real, that there are technologies that can do, again, what I believe to be small scale weather modifications. Small scale, though. I'm not talking about cataclysmic events. Small scale. But also, understandably, that there's the magnetic reversal pole shift, which happens around every 800,000 to nearly a million years. These are roughly million year cycles. And we apparently are overdue for one anyway. And just this year, a study on cultural heritage building materials in Europe and Mexico found when the precipitation increases substantially, it puts these buildings at risk of damage. Oh, surprise there. According to Taria Curie Alvarez, who identifies as a living member of the Purepecha tribe, his ancestors would have interpreted the crumbling of the pyramid as Ihuatzio, I think that's the better pronunciation, Ihuatzio, as a bad omen. That's pretty interesting. I wonder specifically what the omen would be. I might need to get out another article to clarify that. In a Facebook post, Alvarez said that before the arrival of foreign conquerors in Mexico, something similar happened. That's interesting. And it was because the gods were displeased. Interesting that that's happened before. Just days before the pyramid in Mexico tumbled down, Utah's iconic double arch also caved in, probably due to changing water levels and erosion. Heritage sites like these are priceless places that humans wish to preserve for future generations. Watching them collapse from a climate that has been drastically altered by our own behavior is displeasing to watch, and not just for immortals, but also for the living. I'm very curious as to what the specific omen was around that. To stage again. There we go. Yeah, I'm just very curious as to what that actually involved, that specific omen. Let's have a look. Specific omen of the Huacha tribe. Let's see if this actually comes up with anything. or in Ihuacha tribe. Let's see if there's actually something specific here. Oh no, that's to do with the game. Mexico. There's Aztec. I don't think it's Aztec. Just curious. Sorry for the dead air, everyone. Trying to find something here. Trying to find something specific. But okay, so Ihuatsu is the place. Let's see what the Omen says. Let's see if we can find an Omen. Share screen. Alright, another article. The empire the Aztecs couldn't conquer, from Stephanie Mendez. The Purépechas were one of the only indigenous groups in Mexico the Aztecs failed to conquer. This is the legacy of our people, my uncle said as we gazed at the pyramids. We are not in Egypt, we're the town of Tzintzuntzan in Mexico's southwestern state of Michoacán. The pyramids, or the Yakotas, looming in front of us were uniquely made of a volcanic stone. Perhaps the most intact relics of the Purépechas, pre-Hispanic indigenous group once reigned here that the people have never heard of. In fact, I never heard of them until a few months ago when I found out that I was a direct descendant. It's like a personal biography. Standing tall and strong at 4 foot in those days, we're talking about 1,000 years ago, 1.4 meters tall back in those days. So actually, that is considered quite tall historically. My Purépcha grandmother is an elder of the community. Lives in a weathered building of cement. No stories about the omens. Juana's kitchen. Alright, there's a little bit more information. Between the 14th and early 16th centuries, the Purépchas dominated western Mexico with an estimated population of more than 1 million, so about 1 million. Tzintzuntzan was their capital, where Irecha, or the ruler, lived. Notice the place of hummingbirds, best preserved pyramidal structures in the region. Basin Colossal Lake. I can't find anything about the omens, but this does tell me a little bit more about the history. Anyways, I could look more into this in a future stream. Now, thinking about the omens specifically, if you are of this heritage, or like someone associated with the tribe itself. By tribe, I'm referring specifically to the Yachatas, Yasatas, or one of the other tribal members, Yasatas or Purhepacha. Please let me know if you know of any omens or of any places where I can find this information. Just let me know. I'm curious. I'll add that to the stream or on a follow-up stream. That's it from me, everyone. Humanus Invictus, the human spirit is unconquered. And Sabadi, have a very good day. Best of luck. See you all next time.